Dark Cloud. What's up, man? You know, Sakamox territory. You know what I mean? You got the Kentucky. You got the Carolinas. What was the Carolinas called before it was the Carolinas? That I don't know. I know a lot, but that I don't know. The more I know, the more I know I don't know. The more I learn, the more I know that there's more to be for me to learn. You know. So I just know that dark clouds this morning because you see it's 7:45. That sun's supposed to be shining bright. But it is what it is. Hard work pays off, whatever. But then the time would come to move on, and it was as their forefathers had always done. From the journey, let's read this. In the dim of the light, who, what, when, where, right? Now I want to read this with this flag. You know what I mean? Y'all look up the Ottoman Empire. Look up the Ottoman Empire, and then look up the Turks of South Carolina. And then look up Turkish tobacco. So we just reading. In the dim of the light, the Indians barely make it out the smaller paths swung away from the rivers towards the hills in the distance. They climb through the thick stands of the laurel and up the steep jumble of rocks to the mouth of the cave, 40 feet above the river's floodplain. It was really nothing more than a ledge of granite in the middle of a hill about 1,200 feet long, but its cavity was deep and high and afforded shelter from the wind and rain. It would be their home for a little while. Tired from the journey, the family drifted into the sleep as the first faint flash of lightning struck across the sky, followed by the low grumble of the distant thunder. Tomorrow the men would hunt for bear, deer, buffalo, and the abundance of small game that led along the river. The women would spend their days collecting berries, nuts, and fruits. But then the time would come to move on. It was as their forefathers had always done. Sit in the remains of, it says, hold on. But then the time would come to move on. It was as their forefathers or ancestors had always done. Sit in what remains of the old rock shelter above the Yadkin River, surrounded by an ancient crumbling granite and such musings come as suddenly as late summer shower. For here, thousands of years before the pyramids was built, lived the inhabitants of North Carolina, Piedmont. Little do we know of the Indians. Now, you know they mislabeled the Moors as Indians. Yep. The first Indians that were called Indians were in the Caribbean island because they thought they were in Hindustan, which was India. India is really Hindustan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when they came here, they came to the South Seas first. Look up the South Seas. So it's very good to read and put things in proper perspective. So little do we know of the Indians, right? Because they didn't exist. They were written into history. So no, they don't know the Indians. They know the Moors, who were mislabeled as black, Negro, colored, Indian, etc. Little do we know of the Indians. Let me show you. North Carolina, they got a map, 1709 of the Carolinas. It say North America. I can't flip the camera on yet. You know what I mean? I don't see no. What I don't see is just you looking, I don't see no division lines. You know what I mean? Everything was connected. Little do we know of the Indians. So I'm gonna read in his language because I'm not gonna say Moors because I know for a fact he knows about. All of these scholars know about the Moors. We educated them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we educated them. So therefore, to take that power from Moor, they have to call themselves white. Reference point. Knights of Columbus, 1884, KKK oath. I can't even read my handwriting. Just type in 1854 Knights of Columbus KKK oath at Philadelphia, my fault. And then also look up the case Johnson versus McIntosh, 1823. And you're going to see that they started calling themselves white, which is a status, not a color. I've never seen a white person. Like, I've never seen a white human. It's a status. Have you ever seen a white human? Man? Have you ever seen a white man? All right. So you have to put things in proper perspective when you read it. Can't just because that would drift your consciousness. You know what I mean? Little do we know of the Indians who lived in what is now Forsyth County. Comes from places like these sheltered rock. The little we know of Indians, the little that we know of Indians who lived in what is now Forsyth County comes from places like this sheltered rock. More than 500 Indian sites have been found in the county, and from them shine glimmers of the past, that the weathered remnants of a rock tool, a jagged piece of a broken bowl, and the germ remains of an animal bone. They form a hazy picture of 10,000-year-old culture that began with nomadic hunters who migrated through the Yadkin Basin with animal herds as the last ice sheets retreated across the continent. Some stopped here at this cavern near the Great Bend, 13 miles northwest of Winston-Salem. 13. When did Winston-Salem become a jointed city? Okay. What does the number 13 symbolize? When did the prophet establish his religious organization? These are just questions. When was the Federal Reserve established? When was my great-grandfather born? They wouldn't recognize their old home today. The rock roof has partially caved in, and floods over millenniums have deposited tons of debris that almost fill the once spacious cavern. Rows of corn and tobacco line the floodplain in place of the forest where the first Indians hunted. First Indians. We talking Jews? Because it say here. There's a chapter in here. The discovery of fire. That's the first chapter. Let's see. Let's read, shall we read? The discovery of fire. It says that as man, he could be independent of climate. Okay. The influence of the discovery on the civilization and the development of humanity can hardly be estimated. Man originally lived in the tropics only. He knew nothing of clothing and artificial heat, ate none of the oily, heart-bearing substances such as meat and fish, etc., and subsisted alone on fruit. These are two Europeans. These are two Europeans. These are two different Europeans. This was written in 1910. Okay. What? I'm just reading, bro. Like, I'm just reading. This is his discovery of fire enabled him to eat fish and the fowl, and with these he could live anywhere. He could be independent of climate. As he found heat, he discovered he could eat many of the foods of the earth which he had not otherwise tried. Animals were killed and cooked, and the art of treatment of various cooked foods was developed. As men found that they could eat certain food, women too, in the woods by cooking them, they began to gather, right? Hunter-gatherers, right? Cooking, hence the city. As men found we could eat foods found in the woods by cooking them, they began to gather in places and to cultivate these foods. Hence, we have cities, agriculture, we have city, agriculture, society, invention, and commerce directly due to fire. As men lived together and women, they found residences where needed, whence came our buildings. Then, as they found that they could materially modify foods by cooking them, they also tested fire on iron, steel, etc. 10,000 years? Come on now. And thus discovered the manufacture of steeler, and iron implements. This made it possible for tools and other implements. With these men learned of inventions and conveniences by steadily improving those utilized. Now, it's another book I want to pull out. These are all European scholars, by the way. This one said the Jew is the Negro. And then we got another one here. This just came in. You know what I mean? This says that Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible was contemporary with Ramses II. So, when it comes to rewriting history, it's not far off. This right here talks about fire too. This is Native Roots. See, they got that Lakota on there. The Lakota College. I wish I could. Let's see. Hunting. This is the chapter that I'm on right now. The Kroko. Oh, man, this is a good book, boy. Listen to me. It says, I'm just paraphrasing. This habit of eating uncooked meat led to these people being called Eskimo, which means eaters of raw meat. In the language of the Algonquin speaking neighbors to the south, Algonquin, most of the world adopted this name for these people. And the people around the Tokyakatuk became known as the Mackenzie Eskimo, or the Western Eskimos. Most of the native people of the American Arctic prefer to be called Inuit, or, in the language spoken by the people of the Tokyakatuk, it says Inuvialuit, both of which simply means the people. See what I'm saying? So I'm putting this stuff. Even in such a city as Minneapolis, one of the most northern in the United States, lies as close as the Havana, Cuba, lies as close as Havana, Cuba as the Tokyo. Okay? It says that what I wanted to look for, let me see, lies more than 3,000 miles northwest of Chicago. Washington, D.C. is as close as the equator as it is to Toyko Talk. Let me see, is it up there? They got it up there. There's Canada right there. Yeah, there's Canada. So, all of these Moors, time becomes even more rapid or geographic for the southerner at this latitude of 70 degrees north. Whew! 70 degrees north. We at 30, 36. The sun disappears completely for 6 weeks in the winter. Right? So, what I'm looking to do is to compare it talks about fire in here in one of these books. So it says that the hunters are the caribou. So what I'm picking up right now, the downloads that I'm getting, because I don't want to waste y'all time. It's just, see, they got an Ibn in here. Huh. Man, shout out, man. Praises to Jack Rutherford, man. I got both of his books. Oh, it's up there. You see that? You probably can't see. See, it's the opening. Toyaktuk. It's up there at the top. Right. These are probably the people that came across the Bering Strait. Look, you see what they call Russia? It don't say Russia. It says Asia, bro. Asia. Oh boy, I gotta save this video. It say Asia. Now, I don't even show it on here, but I got a map of the world over there. But that says Asia, and I was just getting ready to say Asiatics. These Asiatics who were from Southeast Asia, Southwest Asia, which is Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia, you know what I mean? Who migrated into Northeast Asia. Shakamak, man, come on. And then, so what we got here is Tuk Toyak Tuk. Sound like Tuck. Come on, man. So let me see if they got this up here. Ooh. I don't know. Be my eyes. See it? It'll be up here. Small. Northwest Territories. So they got the degree lines on there at least. I know North Carolina is like 36. Chippewa. So yeah, man. Anyway, back to my point. So Tuk Toyak Tuk, you know. It's very good. This is a very good book, dog. I have his other book too. I got Indian Givers. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jack Weatherford. Like, if you're gonna talk about the Moors, man, I mean, like, if you're gonna call us Indians, you better, like, cover that up. Like, you better be, like, so what I'm, like, if you gotta know how to read in codes, like, and you gotta pick up those codes, and you gotta understand that the Christian black codes, you know what I mean? Christian black codes, feel me? Because they took I can go in on, I got some more, my other, it's right here. You see that? This right here. Paths, it's not okay. Paths towards freedom is right here. It's gonna tell you that these so-called Indians didn't necessarily disappear. They just became a part of what is called the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't leave. They just, you know, I'm gonna show y'all this. I could have pulled it up on the computer, but I'll show you. I got a consensus from the 1800s in South Dakota. I'm gonna tell you what was happening there, and I'm gonna get to my last point. I'm gonna close out. Gotta bear with me. So bear with me. Hold on. Pull this up for y'all. Team Cup. Here's the consensus right here. South Dakota. We call this the Shaney River. The consensus of Shaney River, right? And probably can't see it well, but what I really want you to see, we'll zoom in on it. They have Indian name, and then you have English name. So for example, you have let's see one. A lot of them didn't fill out on this one, they didn't fill out the English name. But for example, like you have Tin Cup. Oh. You have, wow. Sorry, y'all, I'm discovering stuff on here as I'm reading. Wow. I just made a parallel, but you got 10 cup, and then you got Robertson. You know what I'm saying? Or Robertson. Robertson. Or Ibn Robert. Come on now. Let me see. Let me see if I can get another one. So what happened is, like, you'll have a name like Wounded Knee, and then you'll have John Smith. You feel what I'm saying? So these Moors were given European names for political purposes, because now the Europeans can minister that name and have control over it. You know what I mean? And so, like how he was saying that we don't know what happened to these people, like right here, he says, I'm gonna finish reading this too, but, and see, we got 500 BC, 800 BC, you know, I have other timelines that I can compare that with to give more details. You know what I mean? It says right here, the last Indians of the Yadkin begin a 50-year exodus that eventually ends in Canada, right? And come on, that eventually ends, or did it begin? Come on, it say they gone forever. I posted this on my Facebook, and, like, you know, it went over a lot of people's heads. Look at this. And then also, I'm gonna show y'all this. I'm gonna show you this too. I'm gonna show you. Let you know that I ain't bullshitting, B. I ain't bullshitting. Look at this. Right. You see that? That's Sir Walter Raleigh. That's Sir Walter Raleigh. Now just look at his features, man. That's Sir Walter Raleigh. So, like, I'm gonna put it like this. Do that look like a hunter-gatherer to you? Do that look like a hunter-gatherer to you? Do that look like what they call the Indians? You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as, like, us wearing thongs and Jesus sandals and running around with bows and arrows. Do he look like he doing that? I'm just being, and so now, what this book is saying, you know, I gotta go around. He look like that, don't he? I should put them side by side. Let me see if I can do that. Is that even possible? Is that even possible, B? I'm gonna put this in. Said the Jew of who? Negro. I'm just here to make you think. I'm just here so you can think. Man. Look at that, man. Charlotte, North Carolina. Named after Charlotte, Sophia Lounge in Charlotte. Shout out to my people in the 704, man. Come on. What is this? Oh, July 1st, 1940, Negro blood and Hitler's Aryans. Ancestry Chase, this book on racial mixture, published in Berlin. black strand and Spaniards. It's a very large percentage of Negroes in the Spanish people. The Spaniards carried the black strand farther into Europe, into France, and the former Netherlands. When the Spaniards were driven out of the latter lands, about 3,000 of them settled in Hamburg, and many of the Hamburg citizens today bear a striking resemblance of the citizens of Spain. Portugal was the first example of a Negrito republic in Europe, and the Portuguese run a deep current of Negro blood, and there the Negro has often risen to the caste of nobility. All of this is ancient history. The Romans brought Negro troops to the Rhine and over the Danube. Later, merchants purchased the young Negroes as servants. In all the large cities of commerce, did we not just hear commerce? Commerce, there were several hundred blacks, and many a house was simply known. And many a house was known simply as at the Moors. At the Moors. And one circle of people whose members belonged to the Russian, English, and German nobility, there is much Negro blood inherited from an ancestor who lived at the end of the 18th century. What? And who was the great-grandfather of one of the greatest poets of all lands and all times, Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. That sealed the deal right there, B. So, I just showed y'all a lot in a little bit amount of time. And look at this. I'm going to show you this too, because I like going to this. This book is called what? The Asians. Oh, now we talking nationality. So all these people, they like, who are the Asiatics? Who's the Asiatics? Man, we ain't gotta go far in here. The Great American Tragedy. The Great American Tragedy in Asia. That's what it said. Hold on. Scholarly work. Man, my son's asleep. I gotta get it in. I don't know. I'll just show y'all some shit. This book I'm reference. And we just seen Russia. Now we just heard Russia. The nobility in Russia was what? I just told you. Negro. And then I just showed you what Russia. It said Russia was Asia. Now hold on. What that say? Asians look at America. Come on. And then he just told you that we was in Shalom. Shalom. Boy, is this thing on? Shalom. Or is that Shanghai? Raleigh? Or Shanghai? That's what this say. The People's Republic of China. China is a part of Asia. Oh, the Mongolian People's Republic. Huh? That's just say, look like Memphis is Chongqing. And then we got South Carolina, Shanghai, Wuhan. Come on, man. Y'all want some reference? Y'all want to reference that? Reference points. North Korea, the Mongolian People Republic. What does it say? What is this? What are we reading? It says, Asia is not just the biggest and most continental or highest or wettest or most diverse continents. It's not just the biggest and most continental or highest or wettest or most diverse of continents. It is interesting because it is the most, wait for it, human. The region called Asia in this book stretches from Pakistan on the west to Japan on the east, from the northern borders of China to the southernmost boundaries of Indonesia. Within the borders are included the countries and territories of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the People's Republic of China, the mainland. The Republic, it says the People's Republic of China. And in the Republic of China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea. These are all Moors. Japan, the Mongolian Republic, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Nepal, Bhutan, Brunei, Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, and the Maldives Islands. Now look at this right here. The People's Republic of of China. Man, like, the region total area has 800 million square miles. Some of the individual countries within it are larger. Are larger than many American and European nations, right? The People's Republic of China rivals the United States right? In size, right? What is the United States? The United States of America is a corporation. It's not a country. It's not a republic. So, the republic for which it stands, the People's Republic, right? India is larger than any European country except Russia. Indonesia is more than 3 times the size of France and extends east and west approximately to the same distance as the separating the east to west coast of the United States. Man. So what they doing is just kind of showing you, introspective quest for food, man. You see how all this stuff ties in together? I'm just here to make you think. So it says that the people start in the villages, right? They start in the villages. And then from the villages, you got, where we at? I ain't got it over. It's somewhere over here. I got a book called The Private City. Tell you how, privateers come and they build the city, civilization, right? So, I'm gonna get back to my reading. I just let you know that, when you read, you should have a lot of books around you. You should have dictionaries around you. You should have Webster dictionaries around you. You should have Black Laws dictionaries around you, opened up. You know what I mean? Just so that you can really start putting things in proper perspective. You know what I mean? You should have, if you have timelines, you should have books from those timelines. You know what I mean? Like we got America BC. I don't have that book. I had it in my possession. I checked it out from the library. But that's by Barry Fell, who's another European scholar. See, these Europeans, they know about the Moors. They do research on the Moors. You know what I mean? They said that here in America, before English in the ancient times, we had Libyan texts. You know what I mean? And Libyan is an ancient Arabic text. You know what I mean? Like if you look up the Libyan script and look up Arabic, it's contemporary. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a lot of history here. And then that's why like I hold guys like this, you know, European accountable, because it's like, look, like ain't gonna be no blank paint. Ain't gonna be no blank pages. You know what I mean? If we talking about the, you know what I mean? The Indian givers, how the Indians of America transformed the world. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Like, if respectfully, you know what I mean? Like, we gonna talk about this still? What we gonna talk about? You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna really talk about it? You know what I mean? Or are you gonna be on hush mouth? And if you're gonna be on hush mouth and you not of the original Jewish family, you know what I mean? If you're not of those Moors, you know what I mean? Like, who you always, you know, that we not even gonna get on the independence part. Who is they breaking independence from, huh? So you was a subject to somebody. Who was you a subject to? If you gotta become an independent, if you have to declare your independence, who were you a subject to? You know what I'm saying? Who were you subject to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna be real about it. You know what I mean? Like you said you coming from, you part of the Moravian Church. You a member of the Moravian Church. You're not from the Moravian Republic. You know what I mean? John Huss. I can show you John Huss. You want to see what John Huss look like? Oh, y'all think I don't know? How y'all church began? A religious assembly? You know what I mean? We talking John Huss? You know what I mean? John Huss? Come on, man. Who was exiled by the Roman church from his Papa Bulls, where he spoke out against the Roman church. And since, come on, man. And now these Roman orders are in Shalom. Oh, come on, man. I said that. Yo, I'm gonna read this poem on the closeout. I'm gonna close out on this poem, man. Come on, like John Huss? Are these the people of John Huss? The person who didn't even start the Moravian? He didn't even start the Moravian church. He was just speaking out against the Roman church. You know what I mean? So in order to come to America, you gotta have a religious assembly. You feel what I'm saying? And then it talk, like in that book, it tells you about all the Indian churches that was in North Carolina and the colors of the people who was in them pulpits. You feel what I'm saying? So, and they list them. So what church was this? And they talking about the first black church? Are you serious? First black church? When y'all start calling us black? And then we'll give you, okay, that's the first black church, right? But what was there before? You feel what I'm saying? Come on, dog. Come on, man. Got me upset this morning. Like, so if you gonna talk about the Indians, you gotta talk about them correctly. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk about how we transform the world. The world. We can go in on the R.J. Reynolds. You wanna talk about the Slades? Who are you, a Slade? You know what I'm saying? Because I know my Slades. Because guess who is? Look at my author name. Look at my crown. You know what I'm saying? My people from the Brown Summit. You know what I'm saying? So you want to talk about the slaves who was cultivating tobacco that gave R.J. Reynolds? Come on, B. That Bible of the, is it the book of Ezekiel or is it the book of Ezekiel slave? Which one is it? Come on, we could really go in. So anyway, this is called Pray for the Ukraine, right? Because I heard Sabir say that somebody was trying to go fight over from Detroit, wanting to go fight over in the Ukraine. Send them. How about you send them to motherfucking Winston-Salem first, bro? How about you come to How about you come to Winston first and save the kids getting killed? You want to go and fucking fight a war that had nothing to do with you? And I just showed you who Russia really, man. Listen. Whew. Do you know what it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many mothers I talked to, they lost their babies? The gun violence. You know what I mean? Do you know how many homies I lost to gun violence? You know how many moms I hear crying on the news? Listen, pray for the Ukraine. I just seen another mother cry. She lost her daughter, 19, to that gunfire, 12 years old. 12 years old, you gotta stay strapped to go to school just to survive. The war is at Winston. The world just ain't listening. Cause these troops ain't got on no muscle. These troops ain't got on no muscle. War heroes get praised for killing, but in Winston they get troop. No more salutes, except in private. They still speaking on nonviolence, but the message ain't getting through. The war is against the youth, nah, IQ. War against you. Quiet down. Quiet down or you get X. Like Al Hodge, but he came with that motherfucking truth. Now we selling these kids false narratives. It's a wonder that they don't kill you. Pray for the Ukraine. Man, only cause we fucking felt the motherfucking same pain. How we gonna be scholars if they blowing out our brains? How can we change the world if we still ain't changed? That's why I came, to change the game. And it ain't for fame. It's for the same reason that y'all pray for the Ukraine. What? And the solution ain't Putin, it's ground of distribution. Solution ain't Putin, it's ground of distribution. So, again, man, I got books for days. We could talk about this all day. We could talk about this shit all day. Where is my the private city, man? So it says the hunters developed the village developed the city. And they said at one point they had to make Winston an entry of import. Cause all the stuff that we was hauling out of there, bro. Textiles, you had Hanes, tobacco, you had so much stuff coming out. It's the eighth largest city port in the country. Look it up. Shalom. So again, and these Europeans were dumbing us down. You know what I mean? They were dumbing us down so that they can run the town. Because blacks is a product. The black, you know, you being black, making somebody a lot of money just by you being black. That's why you don't label yourself as black. You take control of that. You feel me? And then you take back, not do respiration. You know what I'm saying? Not do reparation, but do restorations. Restoration. Let's look at the word as restoration. So we're not gonna look at the Gotta give you law before I leave. Indian tribal property. Say it right there. Property which an Indian tribe has legally enforceable interests. Refers to real property, the title to which is vested in the United States but held in trust for the Indian tribe. Such property, depending on the content of which term is used, or may not be public property of the United States. Chief Seattle Properties Incorporated versus Kitsap County, 86 Wash 2D 751. Pay or P2D 699-704. See Indian Lands, Indian Revelation. Excuse me. An Indian tribe, a separate and distinct community or body of the Aboriginal Indian race of men found in the United States. An Indian tribe, it says, look at Montoya versus U.S. 180, U.S. 261, 261, 21, S Court or SCT 385, 45 LED 521. I gotta learn how to read those, okay? Like, for real. It says an Indian tribe within meaning of Indian Non-Intercourse Act is a body of Indians of the same or similar race united in a community under one leadership, one government, and inhabiting a particular though sometimes ill-defined territory. It says Mass P tribe versus the New Seabird Corp, DC Mass 47 F Sup 899-902 for the purpose of a statute governing federal court jurisdiction of actions brought by an Indian tribe or band. Indian tribes or bands are separate communities of citizens, right, of Indian descent, possibly with the common racial origin, possessing the power of a sovereign to regulate their internal and social relations. Navajo Tribal Tribal Utility Authority versus the Arizona Department of Revenue. Now, a member of a tribe can have the same authority as a citizen of the United States. Now, here is Title 49 from Title 23 from the Department of Transportation, subsection 207, Tribal Transportation and Self-Governments Program. And I'm going to just leave that at that because I'll be reading this all day. You know what I'm saying? The authority to promulgate regulations under the sub shall expire 48. So we're looking at restorations. Restorations, my fault. I'm just looking over. Come on. The Bank of Korea. Koroko. Kokako. Reformation. Okay, let's look at we got Reformation right here. It says a court-ordered correction of written instrument to cause it to reflect the true intentions to the parties. Equitable remedy used to reframe written contracts to reflect accurately real agreements between contracting parties when either through mutual mistake or unilateral mistake coupled with actual and equitable fraud by the other party This writing does not embody contract as actual made. If the mistake, if by mistake of fact as the contracts of a written agreement or convenience, or by mistake of a law as to its legal effect, the writing does not conform the agreement of the parties to it. The writing can be reformed to accord with the agreement. It says reformations means doing over to bring about a better result, correction of a rectification. Look at Tuel versus Gladden, 234 Oregon, 1379 P 2D 533-5, 555. Also see reform to correct, rectify, amend, and remodel. Reformations. Okay. Remedy law. Come on, dog. This is the stuff that we gotta be talking about. I ain't know I was gonna be on here this long. Restoration. So, we have to really just put everything in its proper perspective. The restoration wasn't in there, y'all. So, you got, we got law. We got the law terms. So, what I'm saying is that you have to, when you are doing your studies, you have to break everything down. Everything down. You know what I mean? And it says, going back to where we began, it says that some stopped here at this cavern near the Great Bend, 13 miles of Salem. They wouldn't recognize their old home today. The rock roof has partially caved in and floods over. So this is pretty much, he's saying that we were the first inhabitants of the land. Now he's just caking it up and making it sound like a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? But we were the original inhabitants of this land. From then until now. But we didn't properly claim the land. So they took it from us, dumbed us down, put us in the projects, and had us killing each other. While they, literally, I want to see where he talked about Simon Green. I want to make this point. He said that, let me see, right here. It says, Simon Green Atkins, right? Who knew that educating the black workers who poured into the city at the turn of the century meant more than just getting them in school. James A. Gray Jr. Meanwhile, James A. Gray Jr., who first ran the Wachovia Bank and Trust Company and then R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, and thus, it says, who first ran. He didn't work, he ran. You know what I'm saying? It says, educating. I went to this institution, you know what I mean? Who knew that educating the black workers who poured into the city at the turn of the century meant more than just getting them into school. What did it mean? Speak on it. James A. Gray, who first ran. Meanwhile, they were running Bank and Trust. And then R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. What did it say about the trust? Thus shaped the city in his image. And the colorful Hubert Haynes Jr., who didn't want to own all the land in Forsyth County, but just the land that adjoined his. Man, so we have to wake up, Morris. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. See the alarm going off? It's time to wake up. You know what I mean? I could be here talking all day on this stuff, you know, but it's just a study session. You know what I mean? I don't know everything, so I have to read. You know what I mean? So I gotta read. But all this stuff, you know, I close out with this. Do your research. Stay out of the street. You know what I mean? I understand that you have to be on the street to survive, but stay in the books. When I was on the streets, I was walking to the library. I was catching the bus to the library. You know what I mean? To check out Barry Fell. You know what I mean? To see if they had Indian givers. To see if they had, you know what I'm saying, the Moors in Spain. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're gonna be in the streets with a purpose. You know what I mean? Understand your divine connection to this, you know, this grand universe. You know what I mean? This crystallized universe. And stop letting these hybrid Europeans think that, you know, because they are the majority of the people that's the ministers over the state, you know what I mean, or aka the policy enforcers, not the law, the policy enforcers, the police. They enforcing their policy of their corporation, which is not common law. You know what I mean? Which is not even constitutional law. You know, the way that they're storing us and hijacking us. You know what I mean? And warehousing us. You know, and they're treating you like products. You know, and we have to be aware of that, and we have to study law. You know, plenty of times I could have got locked up. Plenty of times. You know, but I told them that I'm not a part of their jurisdiction because the United States of America is foreign. You know, so we have to study this stuff. We have to, you know, really know who we are. We have to have more of these conversations. You know, and really set yourself and get your affairs in order. You know what I mean? Everybody talking about the metaverse, but get your affairs in order first. Talking about the metaverse, but get your affairs in order first. You know what I mean? Like respectfully, get your affairs in order first. Get you some gold, get you some silver, get you some machinery, you know what I'm saying? Invest in that first. Invest in land, gold, silver, machinery. You know what I mean? Palladium, if you can afford it, because it is going up. And govern, it says, what it say about the tribe? It has one form of government that governs your state. And you're not Indian, you're Moor. You know what I'm saying? And the world, everybody in the world knows that except for you. That's why they treat y'all the way that they do. Because you don't know, you know what I'm saying? You worshiping what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali say? Chapter 47 of the Holy Second Quran. Of the Circle 7 Quran. Got it right here. It says that the Moors, right here, let me see. Right here. The time has come. You know what I'm saying? When every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess of his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away. So we were the reason. That's what the Prophet said. This why The nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of North America, who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and their father, and strayed away after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing. So with that said, I'm going to end on that note. Peace, prosperity, Hotep, if you will. Shalom, Salim, Assalamu alaikum. And peace be amongst the Pax some more. Peace be amongst you. Peace and love and light. Islam.